787.
787 departure frequency 95 will be 1257.
257, thanks.
Oh, it's happening. Oh, we got new equipment. We got new guests. We're back in it. Welcome back to all my fans out there, my SciFi And Friends fans. We had, 3 episodes? We had Wes Warner, Adam Ayers, and then a Haiti missionary trip. And then I just gave up. I just couldn't do it anymore, But I'm SciFi, and I've moved back into the area of the Midwest, reunited with good people, the cats and others alike, and started up the podcast again, SciFi And Friends. So welcome, everybody, to SciFi And Friends, episode number 4. And today, I have two of my favorite people in all the world. One I share almost all my genetics with, and one is Casye. I got Casye Seifert today, my brother, my roommate.
Hey, everyone.
And his good friend, my good friend, Dr. Trevor Burrows.
Freedom.
Welcome, boys. Welcome to the SciFi And Friends podcast.
Thanks
for having us.
Thank you.
Yes, we got these brand new mics. We got these
Look nice.
setups. No one's holding the mic. You guys holding the mic?
No.
No.
What are you holding over there?
Nothing.
Hands above the table.
That's all right.
Nobody's holding the mic. We got the best that money could buy. Still paying it off. I'm going to be in debt for a while. If you go to Red Oak, remember me. Set up my section.
They're going to have to break your legs for the money.
I sell half-eaten steaks.
Loan sharks are going to be after you.
So, what you guys been up to?
Obviously not much.
Next subject. Who are you voting for president?
Let's get political.
Definitely, let me think.
Bush.
Lindsey Graham.
So, actually, Trevor's getting ready to graduate in December. So,
December 11th,
congratulations.
5 o'clock. Hit me up. I'll be there. I'll fucking be there.
Grad party.
Drunk
Oh,
as hell afterwards.
I kind of want to get a little buzz going.
What are you going to do?
Are you gonna
Walk
walk?
across?
Are you gonna walk?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Tradition.
I'll be there. I'll watch you.
All right.
Hopefully.
You can do that. If not, I understand. Those things are boring as hell.
Dude, and hot. It's going to be
Hot.
indoors.
It'll be December, so that'll help.
But it'll be in the weed, which is
Yeah.
everyone I've been to.
With an
Jason's. Remember Jason's? How
it was terrible.
sweating. It was so bad.
Dude, I stayed there for 5 minutes maybe. Went and got drunk in the parking lot afterwards.
Oh, I remember that. I do remember that.
I
Because I
can't
was
do
like,
this.
I was having to decide whether to take shots with you guys or go to work. Like, work and film Jason's grad or get slammed in the parking lot.
Yeah, Jason wouldn't have cared if you were slammed.
I was definitely tipsy, but I was holding your, like, $10,000 camera or
it's
whatever.
not
I mean, I was, like, buzzing real good, trying to stay sturdy and not breathe on people.
Well, I mean, what? The next night you just abandoned hope.
Now, the next night, that's a different story.
So, Trevor, you're studying biology and more specifically field biology. Why?
Why? I don't know. The cliche answer is that I always wanted to do something, as most people do, that makes a difference. Mm-hmm. And I saw that the natural world is going to shit. And a lot of it's our fault, which is kind of inevitable. But we can share the place with other species and help ourselves out at the same time by just taking care of the land. Mm-hmm. And it's, our ancestors did it. That's how we got here. I don't know. Growing up out in the country, kind of like you guys, you just find a love for it. And you don't want to sit behind a computer in a cubicle all day. That just sounds terrible.
Right. You want to be out in the field.
Yeah.
No pun intended, field biology.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things you do? You see, like, what creatures live in this
We
pond?
took a trip today.
Yeah, we went out to look at some potential graduate work. There's this rich-ass doctor who wants to have, like, veg surveys done on his land. He has, like, 2,000 acres.
A farmer?
No. He was a rancher in Canada. Then he came down here and bought 2,000 acres. And it just so happens he has gas and oil on it. Jeez. He has money in, like, 20 banks. He's a partial owner. He's just balling.
Right.
He's balling. And he's a dentist. And he really likes nature and stuff.
Does he like to go, like, hunt in Africa?
He probably would.
I mean,
I don't think he does.
Does he like to kill lions with names?
Simba.
Cecil.
I actually don't know much about the Cecil thing.
All right, we can talk about it. We can talk. But anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Either way, what were we saying about it?
That he's just balling.
Yeah.
You're going to do some work.
He's had people in the past do little studies, like Kansas State Forestry Department was making like a list of all the tree species out there just because he wanted it done. And so they did that, and he is also wanting veg surveys of all the plants, which...
That's what that's called, veg surveys?
Yeah.
I mean, Casey's probably thinking of something different as a psychologist.
Oh, true. And, I don't know, there's just a million things he could do.
Now,
water quality.
Is this for his personal satisfaction of knowing?
Yeah, basically he's bored, has that much money.
Right,
and
not like, putting it towards... Well, I guess he could put it towards something depending on what was found on his land and stuff.
I think his long-term goal, even though he's not going to live that long, is to, like, improve the habitat overall.
So he has good intentions for sure.
Yeah. He's just like an oligarch that really wants to do good with his
he's giving
land.
back in a way to research.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's allowing.
He's willing to pay for it.
Right.
I don't think I'm going to do it.
Right.
But
you don't want to work for the old dentist?
No, I'd be fine with it. Just everyone says don't go to Pitt for graduate school.
For field biology.
Yeah, right. Just because the funding isn't there, and there's like 5 graduate students.
What have you ever thought about doing like something like Kickstarter, like finding a program, like building a program called like the Burrows Burrow, and you're gonna go over and you're gonna
That's not bad.
And you're gonna mess
soil
with
ecology.
Soil ecology, or maybe like follow a troop of prairie dogs that are invasive to whatever, and you're just like, you know what, I got this degree, and here's my project, here's my outline. You know, we want to study these prairie dogs, and et cetera. I need $150,000, and just throw it up on Kickstarter, and make that your graduate work.
Yeah, I just don't know. Part of the problem is finding what I want to specialize in. I've been thinking about wetlands, especially with sea level rise. It'd be a way to potentially delineate, which...
And show me birds, or show me...
Ducks Unlimited, right. Does a lot, yeah.
Right.
It's just a hot spot, though. Wetlands are great ecosystems that are... We drained them thinking that they didn't matter and put them as ag.
Oh, right.
And that
we did that with everything.
Is straight up species loss, habitat loss.
We took out all the forests, put in soybean fields.
Yeah.
No, we're good.
Yeah. And we're starting to slowly realize that that was a bit of a fuck up. Slowly.
Right. So, can you build a wetland?
You cut them about 3 feet.
What would you call that? You call that like a natural engineer, a nature engineer.
It's more of a remediation.
What's it called?
Remediation.
Oh, there's a term for it.
You can
Like bioremediation.
You find a place that most likely was a wetland in the past, and you can do that by spotting out vegetation. Topography is going to be low.
Right.
There's a lot of things that can indicate it. If an area floods a lot, like if they built a highway and it floods all the time,
right.
There was probably a wetland there back in the day.
Oh, right.
And so you could build a wetland around it. Consulting firms, if you were working for them and you were working for the Department of Transportation or something,
right,
you would go out there and tell them that there was probably a wetland here, build around it, or you can build it there, but you have to put money somewhere else to make another wetland. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
It does. What do you think about like building to mesh with the environment? Like instead of, wiping the land clean, mowing it down, making all the, what do they call that? Some demolition or whatever, where they just make everything flat. Mm-hmm. Like they're doing in Pitt right now at Crossroads. Instead of doing that, be like, all right, here's a marsh, and we're just going to build on top of it and around it, and you're going to walk out of your apartment, and there's going to be marsh creatures everywhere because we're not changing it, except we're building like on top of it. Now that I say it, doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, right. People hate it.
Sometimes you just got to think things through.
Right. Follow that one to the end and thought, oh, okay.
That's why.
A lot of the habitat loss and stuff is just because people have lost the connect with nature.
Oh, right.
They don't realize that we are nature.
Right.
That's where we came from.
Which is where I come in.
Oh, yes, the evolutionary psychologist. If we came from apes, why are there still apes around?
Because we didn't come from apes.
We are apes.
Well, we are, but we shared a common ancestor.
Yeah,
Right.
That's the biggest one.
Yes, right. But we are apes. Like we fall in that category
We're
of
primates.
a member of the great apes.
yeah. But we see ourselves as separate.
Just look at us. We're obviously animals.
I know.
We
I
want to
always
fuck.
imagine-
We want to eat,
Right.
sleep.
Right. No. We're better than that, dude. We're better than that.
We're smarter, I guess. We are,
Right.
but we're
Nobody else is sending emails.
No,
There's not like
yeah.
gaboon monkeys in the treetops like,
Dolphins
damn
are
it,
sending
Dalton
emails.
just emailed
dolphins
me again.
might be.
Dolphins are sending emails
Do they
across
use
the ocean.
AOL though?
Oh, that's true.
We're a little behind. Dial up.
Catching.
Dial up still.
Check out what the humans did. Let's copy off them.
Well, okay, so back to graduate school. You said there's only five people?
It was I know of 3.
Well, I mean, wouldn't that be an advantage to you, though? Because, like, if you could graduate from Pitt, I mean, you could potentially be at the top of your class without much competition.
Right.
But
I am
the
Gamma
professor we
Alpha.
went with today mentioned that graduate school isn't just learning from the professors that you're working with and the work itself, but also learning from the other graduate students and their experiences.
Okay, so I've heard that, too, because, like medical school... Mm-hmm. No. What was it? I guess it was law school. Law school is, like, brutal. Like, everybody's against each other. Everybody wants to be at the top versus, like, a medical school or something along what you're talking about where the students, like, build off of each other. And, like, everybody wants to be a good doctor,
Right.
like, so they help each other out. And they I don't know, I might be wrong on that, but I know law
it makes
school is the
sense.
one.
Yeah.
And so that sounds like what you're saying with graduate school with, you need, it's like, more people on your team, really.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you can't be a doctor or anything like that alone. A lawyer, you could be cutthroat alone.
There's no
Cutthroat.
doctor
The blood-sucking lawyer.
Thank God none of us are in law school.
Jurassic Park. Right.
Soulless.
I don't know. How's it going?
In the middle of the podcast.
Yep. You've made the
Say hello.
You've made the premiere.
Hello.
Speaking of women's rights,
We are. Never mind. Yeah, that's interesting, and that makes sense to me because a lawyer's like goal is to win, even if it's for the wrong guy. Like if the guy sat down, the perpetrator, and he's like, "Just between you and me, I did it." The guy's like, "All right, fine."
Yeah, I still
tell me
gotta
how you
do
did it
this.
so I don't like incriminate you.
have you heard Neil Tyson talk about how like all politicians are lawyers, whereas the scientists and the
Yes.
people that actually know things?
I've seen stats of professions because a politician is like a second tier profession. If you go to political science, usually, and it might be wrong, but I think usually you're going to be like a lobbyist. You're going to be some sort of congressperson. But a politician in general usually has a first tier career. A doctor, a lawyer, a farmer. And there are little stats online to where they say, here are the Congress people of your state or nation, and here are their careers. Because they can only serve for so long, and then they have to go do something else. Overwhelming are lawyers. There's like a tiny, 5% of farmers. There's a Montana, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then there's some scientists, barely any scientists. And what else is there? Maybe like 0.1% athletes or something stupid, But overwhelmingly, like you said, is lawyers who know the laws, who that's all they
work around
do. Yeah, work around them. write laws. And I'm not saying that we don't need lawyers in politics, but not so many.
Right.
I think if lawyers run it, it's set up for corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Cheat codes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Build your own code.
Build your own code.
That's
right.
what they do.
It's like,
They work around it.
all right, so all we got to do is just keep bringing it up and renaming it.
Mm-hmm.
And just, before too long, people will give up because they're just tired of it.
Patriot Act.
Patriot. No. That expired, dude. It's the Freedom Act.
Oh, yeah. Even better.
That sounds way better.
They were like, who named it the Patriot Act? Dude, it's going to expire in 2015.
Freedom.
It's fine. Nobody cares.
But, I mean, who has the time to know what all is in it?
Man, I can't.
You're not going to read through all the bills?
Don't you?
Yeah, dude.
Saturday night, I'm reading the
I
bills.
got to
tonight.
figure out what they're saying here.
You
a
can't even
dictionary
read it.
with
It was
me,
written
yeah.
by lawyers. You're not supposed to be able to read it.
Right. They just word it the weirdest, strangest way. Yeah. And they have all this terminology, too. Like plaintiff, perpetrator. You know, like, what? I don't know those. And different rules, like, in Section 543, it's the blueprint rule.
And it's
Or what do they
thousands
call
of
that in Dark
pages.
Knight? They call it the, we can get him on a RICO, or like, they have these weird terminologies for like different cases. For,
Rico, Sons of Anarchy.
No, they do it in Sons of
yeah.
Anarchy too, but in The Dark Knight, they get a RICO, and that's why they get all the criminals off.
Right. You are.
You fucking use RICO, and the Joker shows up. I mean, like,
I thought my jokes were bad.
Yeah, right. That's
how
a
about I
sign.
make this pencil disappear?
Enough from the cloud.
Seriously.
I love when he said he's not going to be able to get a nickel to give to his grandma or whatever. It was hilarious.
Enough!
That's what.
You
That's his
crossed the
last
line.
straw. Yeah.
Don't talk about my grandma.
Talk about giving my grandma a nickel. That was the last straw.
Jonathan Nolan said his favorite two lines that he ever wrote were "hi" and "yes," or "hi" and "yeah" from the Joker. Hi. and yeah.
Those are sweet lines.
Oh my god.
I'd imagine he had some better lines than that, though. That was more
He's
of
just trying to be cool.
a Heath Ledger, spin on the Joker rather than
Right.
he wrote the line.
What do you think about the new one?
Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, like Leto or whatever his name is.
Oh,
He's being
Jared
the
Leto.
Joker.
Jared Leto. What's that? Suicide Squad's coming out first. It's just too dark for me. It's too dadgum evil.
I haven't investigated it too much. I don't know how I feel about it.
How do I root for the bad guys when they're wanting to do bad things?
Well, it's
know.
like it's something to do bad things, but then you watch Suicide Squad, and it's just like you said, like pure
Yeah.
evil shit.
Right.
Like, how am I supposed to root for this? They're
How
like
evil
seriously.
is it? Like, what are they
It
doing?
looks just straight illogical. Let's blow up hospitals and kill
Right.
everybody. And it's just, okay, there's no like, from the trailer, I'm speaking from the trailer. I haven't seen the movie or anything. But from the trailer, it just looks like there's no motivation to change. Usually a story starts with a character and he's X way. He goes through events and does all these things, and then he ends in Y, and he changes.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Right, but one of the
I got all that out.
one of the best memes.
Alfred,
One of the best memes is
good for you, Alfred.
the infomercial about something with cleavage. Like it covers girls' cleavage or something. Like
Oh, that little
yeah.
piece of cloth?
yeah. Have you seen the meme for that? It's got two pictures. The top picture is the
God.
cleavage, and it's like, oh yeah, that's nice. And then the bottom picture is the product, and the line underneath it says, "Some men want to watch the world. Some men just want to watch the world movies."
Perfect.
That is pure evil. That should be in Suicide Squad.
That's
That's
Yes.
what Al Qaeda should have done.
I'd join Suicide Squad if those
Seriously.
were. Everybody had to wear those. No more cleavage.
ISIS is pushing that. We've made a new product.
Put it in.
We've done with bombs. We are real terrorists now.
Oh no!
Those sick.
All right, I'm joining the military now. I'm done with this
Sign
shit.
me up.
I won't
Okay.
fight for freedom. I'll fight for cleavage.
You know, have you ever heard in rap songs when they go,
Yeah.
do you know what that means?
I can if right now I think it's like Nigerian rebels firing an AK in the sky.
I always thought it was gunshots too. Turns out,
Oh,
I guess
I
it's
know
a
what it is.
blood call.
I know, yeah.
You knew it?
What was it?
A blood call. I guess when you do
Blood Crips.
that's how you find each other
Oh,
in the dark.
yeah.
Marco Polo,
Something like that, yeah.
fucking gangs.
Ryan took me through all that lingo one night, you
nice.
know, and I remember him talking about that.
For years.
What if
I
you can't
thought it
do
was a
that?
gun.
You just gotta roll your tongue.
Well, that's part of the interview. It's part of the interview.
Can I be a blood?
All right, sis, here you've robbed a liquor store. That's good. That's your resume looks nice. Oh, 2 murders. That's nice. Can you make the?
That's all I got, man.
You might be able to work in the coke house, but you can't go out on missions. You know,
I've been 3 years in the coke
working the coke house with all the naked chicks. I can deal with that.
you can move up, become manager.
Manager of the coke house.
We just can't put you in the field, all right?
You're on salary now, so you don't gotta worry about anything.
Vacation.
We're talking like real like New Jersey gangsters. Not like we're not really putting what they should sound like.
Yeah. That might cross a line.
I don't want to be a Southern Cal gangster though. I'd much rather be a Jersey, New York gangster maybe. Join the ranks of
Chinese mob or
Capone.
something.
Chinese mob. That'd be pretty crazy.
Or like
It seems like they have their
Wachowski,
shit together though. They'd understand how everything works. They work as a unit. They have tradition.
right. They seem
What are
loyal.
they called?
What?
They seem loyal.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of that though.
Triad?
Oh, there is a triad.
Is that Chinese?
Is that Korean maybe?
I don't know.
Samsung?
Pull it up, Jamie.
Hurry.
No, there's the Yakuza, which I'm pretty sure that's Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
The triads, I want to say, are Korean. And the Chinese are sweatshop workers.
They call them the 45 sinners.
Oh my god. No, that's terrible. But yeah, it's interesting to how each ethnicity or each country or whatever you want to call it has like a mob, quote end quote, like the Russian mob, which are probably the worst.
All right, you ready?
The
Russians are some bad motherfuckers.
They are. They're just known for that. I want to take a trip to Russia. There's something really weird going on with American Russia for a while.
It's an ego battle.
Yeah, back and forth, you know. Do you know we have troops in Syria right now, boots on the ground, Syria? After the whole nation was like, no, hell no. Mm-hmm. We're done with this, you know. And Obama's like, oh, okay, no, we won't do that. No, we put boots on the ground today. Just
For no reason.
because Russia's in there, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's a territory thing. I think Vladimir wants to take it back to how it was with the Soviet Union, all the territory.
So. Probably so.
And
Recreate
the
the
second
USSR.
largest. I mean, if anybody was going to take us over, it'd be them, but they're not going to. We'd destroy ourselves. We'd destroy the Earth.
Yeah, we'd be like, no.
I think everybody
If we're not
knows.
superpower, no one's going to be superpower. I don't think, and this may just because I'm naive and a child, but I don't think that there's any way that there could be an all-out war, so to speak, because everything is so connected.
Between the two countries?
Between like the top 5, you know, you add in China, we'll just throw all of Africa in there because there are some places. Africa's pretty strange.
We'll do the same
And
thing
Europe,
with Europe.
NATO and whatnot. So, you know, Brazil's getting there too. You know, they're okay. But in the sense of if one country just started going crazy, there are so many other countries that are be like, no, don't be doing that, or all out war, you know.
Yeah.
But it just seems like everything is so interconnected. Half my shit in this house is from the Asia, you know. And so why would China want to invade America when they're just like, no,
There
we're
goes
good.
their economy.
Right, we're good. They keep buying stuff. They never stop buying stuff.
Yep.
We make Samsung S1, and then a month later put it Samsung S2. They all buy it, you know?
They love it.
They love it. iPhone 6S, we just put a new camera in there, and everyone bought it for the same price.
Instead, Americans could be making that, but companies
Right.
would have to pay the Americans more,
Right.
and that's not going to happen.
No, and that's... And it would be great. It would be so fantastic for our economy if we had Apple factories here. Now, here's the question, though. Would it be even affordable for the consumer?
I don't know. I know those companies have more money than they know what to do with.
That is true. And so if you take the profit away from the company and just be like, you know what, Apple, you don't need $800 shares. You know, we're going to... 150 is fine, you know. And we're going to pay...
Employees get
Right.
paid a living wage.
Right. I think you'd make America great. You could tax all those employees. Those guys are going to spend money. They're going to spend money on places like where I work. They're going to spend money on buying other things that were made in other factories in America, you know? So, but we're greedy.
Trade it. Yeah. It was inevitable, though, with capitalism. That's how it works.
After so much
Just
time.
not even capitalism, just resources. Humans.
Right.
You're going to take it and want it all. Just animals.
Rig the game.
No, it's property. Whenever agriculture came up, and then people were like, "This is my section of agriculture, possession."
Well, even watching the lions eat the zebra like we did, everybody wants to survive.
Right.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
gonna
The end
take
game
it.
You can
is
literally watch the
self-preservation.
fight for survival.
Right.
And we'd all do it if we weren't comfortable.
Well,
Sure.
we'd do it if somebody kicked down the door right now
Yeah.
and started. You know, it's just
Because
like
it's yours.
I'd get him a cup of coffee.
Well, what would happen then?
If I gave him a cup of coffee?
I mean, say he doesn't come in guns blazing.
Yeah.
or we have absolutely no chance.
Get down.
Here, dude, drink my coffee.
Guess you could throw it on him.
Yeah, true.
Cold now.
My eye.
Oh, that's kind of cold.
So,
Gotcha.
Trevor's doing field biology. Casey, you're a psychologist, a psychiatrist. You're a neuronaut.
I get to tell Spare that. I
That you're a
didn't,
nerd
I didn't
now.
tell him the title of the podcast, so that'll be interesting. I'll talk to him about it Monday.
Yeah.
But I mean, I told him, I was like, you know,
Yeah.
I want to specialize in drugs and not really because there's like drug abuse, and
Right.
alcohol abuse. Like, yeah, that'd be along the same sector, but I'm not really looking for that. You know, like it'd be interesting, but
So what are you thinking?
I mean, you've heard of MAPS, Rick Doblin.
What's MAPS?
What is it called?
For our listeners.
Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. And so, you know, that it's hard to say because they've only made limited progress. And I mean, I've told a few teachers at Pitt kind of my intentions, and you still get the scoff, you know, just the, what? What do you want to do? Like, God, you know, like, what do you, come on.
And it is Pitt State, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
Harry's was cool.
Harry's was cool
You
about
brought it up to him?
Yeah, I did.
What did he say about it?
I said something like, Casey and I, my brother, are really interested in studying psychedelic drugs. I mentioned MAPS. We went to MAPS website, and he looked it over. And basically, he said that MAPS looks like they fund more things than do things. Like they work with universities.
Seems like they post a lot of studies.
From other universities. And then he said, if I wanted to do that, or if you wanted, or if any of us wanted to do that, we needed to find a professor that was doing those studies and then being like, hey, do you need a grad student with you?
Yeah, but that's not, like Trevor said, it's not Pittsburgh.
No, it's not Pittsburgh. Unless, no, it's...
There's only one other professor I need to talk to about it, and I just
I don't understand why they'd scoff. That's piss poor science.
What, like, oh yeah,
Just write it off without
scoffing
studying
an
it.
idea. Yeah, right, without doing the research on it. Yeah, I don't know. It's, I mean, probably just because everybody has the 70s look on it of, oh, psychedelic, huh? You know, like using it as like a groovy synonym, you know? Like, no, it's not really what I'm looking for.
Even kids still do that today. Like my buddy Johnny, like I'm doing a persuasive speech over psychedelic research next Wednesday. And, you know, when I told him, he was like, rad, man. Cool. You know, and it's just, there were a couple of there were a couple of kids in that class, and they're all freshmen, so I mean, get them a pass. But they were like, "You should hand out samples, dude." You know, just making jokes,
Dude,
Yeah.
their life would be changed forever.
Well,
That's the funny part.
Like, don't tempt me.
Yeah, right. Like, if I brought you all drugs, you would be changed for your lifetime.
You talk about the greatest persuasive speech.
Yeah, right. Take these an hour before I start, and when I start,
All right, I
Put
brought
in some
everyone
cool
a water
slides.
bottle, you know, just so you
Oh,
guys get thirsty. Okay, everyone drank their
we'll
water.
go out to
There's
the
acid
oval
in
and
there.
hug trees after this.
Oh, that
'Cause
sounds awesome.
yeah, dude, just
every-
like swim in the grass.
Everyone that hasn't picked a major, you're going to.
Yeah.
You're going to
Yeah,
find your
right.
major.
You're gonna know what you want to do for life.
Some of you might drop out of school. That's okay. That's all right.
You found your path.
But, you know, in a way, like Casey and I, when we talk to our mom and stuff, it's because she's actually a pretty decent listener to all this.
She's not.
Like
Is this okay?
we will use
Can't
the
tell shit.
word cannabis, instead of marijuana or weed. You know, I'm gonna study weed.
She calls it pot.
I call it pot just
Dude,
because
it's
everybody.
the fucking worst word to use.
Funny.
Okay, so you can, yeah, exactly. You can use it as a comedic term, but a normal person's like, "Are you guys smoking pot?" No, I'm not. I'm really not, actually.
Smoking pot.
It's almost the like, okay, if someone doesn't smoke cannabis and they say that, it's kind of like you give them a write off. But if they have weed pipe in their hand and they're like, "Y'all want some pot?" You're just like, "No, I don't want any of that."
I'm good, brother.
I know from what you just called it. I'm not.
I don't want to have a conversation with you.
It's not like I grab a beer and I go, "You all want some alcohol?"
Well, I'd probably still take it.
Right, it's a little better,
yeah.
but
It could be liquor, it could be beer. It's all alcohol.
right. But okay, all right, yes, right.
Some isopropyl rubbing alcohol.
Y'all want some CH402?
Hell yeah, man.
Anyway, so you want to study that, but in what way? Are you like an anthropologist? Are you a McKenna where you want to go down and you want to tickle the feet of a shaman
Okay, now
and learn from him, or you want to sit in a lab and mix
That's an
acid
interesting
and dose
point
somebody?
because the thing about McKenna, and I'm not sure, I need to read it more into Leary. Tim Leary, for those of you who don't know, look him up because he's an inspiration to us all.
He's like the king of psychedelics.
Dude. Anyway, see, I think if I
Albert
can...
Hoffman.
Hoffman.
Huxley.
If I can bring in those names to professors, that would show, like...
You've done your history.
They should be aware, at least, of who these characters are. And...
Oh, can I side note?
Go ahead.
Dr. Harries saw Tim Leary talk in his grad school. Yeah.
What do you say?
I mentioned, we're interested in psychedelics and everything, and he goes, he's looking up, and you know how Dr. Harris talks. He goes, "By the way, when I was in grad school, I heard Tim Leary debate such and so, and I was, what? Are you kidding?" He's like, "Yeah, it was pretty cool."
Where'd he go to grad school?
Somewhere in Virginia, on the East Coast.
I've seen Tim Leary debate somebody at some school.
Oh, he's done a
I
lot.
can't remember who it was.
Casey was saying that at one debate on YouTube that.
No, he was like on a talk show or something.
Okay, go ahead.
He was on a talk show or something, and there was like this guy called in, and his daughter took LSD, jumped off a roof, and killed herself.
Oh.
And so like this guy was just like laying into Leary. I mean, he would like Tim Leary would try to like get a word in or something, but really couldn't, and the guy would go, and then the host would kind of like, you know, give the guy some fuel and keep going at Tim. This went on for like 4 or 5 minutes, you know. Finally, it was like, "All right, well, thanks for your call." You know, he hangs up. Tim just got like smoked by this guy, you know, like he just got slaughtered. And the host is like, Tim, I bet that was just brutal, you know, like he was just like trying to get a reaction from him. Tim's like, "No, I'm used to it. I get that all the time." Like, I mean, just not internalized, nothing. Like, it was your daughter's fault she killed herself, not the LSD. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was strong, but it was pretty awesome. But back to the McKenna thing.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's all right. That would be awesome because I do have a desire to travel. So, you know, you gotta be careful on what you say on these damn things. But but doing a McKenna thing would be probably awesome.
Yeah.
I need to find out how he funded it because everything takes money and that sucks.
Yeah.
But
I've listened to his book. Can't even think
Sisterhood
of
of the Traveling Band.
Yeah.
No, I have it right here actually.
True Hallucinations. I've
not
listened to
that
True
one.
Hallucinations, and that's where he and Dennis went down.
Last year. The Brotherhood of the Screaming Abyss. I still need to read that.
Oh no, this one's called True Hallucinations, and it's when he first went down. It's before he had tried anything.
Oh,
He
So
describes.
he wasn't prepared at all.
No, he was. This was the first time where they saw a cow patty, saw some mushrooms, and they ate some, and not knowing, and then him saying like, "What happened?" That
Were they
night.
eating them for nutrition then, or did they know that they were psychoactive?
I think they knew that there were some sorts of psychedelics.
They just didn't understand the extent of what was about to happen.
Yeah, they didn't know how powerful a psilocybin mushroom,
Right.
especially a fresh one.
Yeah.
Like one night, they figured them out. There's mushrooms everywhere, and so like part of their daily thing was just to go gather mushrooms. So they'd take 20, 30, 30 wet mushrooms at once.
All
And
of
they-
the same species.
Yes. I don't know. Probably so. So much so, they do this several times, multiple times. takes ayahuasca as well, but it wasn't brewed very well, so it didn't hit him as hard as the mushrooms. Side point. Dennis, his brother, you guys familiar with Dennis McKenna, went crazy. They took so much to where
Temporarily, I guess.
Huh?
Just for a little bit.
For a little bit, yeah. Like lost it for a little bit in the jungle, where he was totally naked
In the jungle.
and would have no social ability to talk. Like if I'm talking to you and you're Dennis, you would just start like talking to yourself and totally disregard me and the conversation. He wasn't sleeping, he was like having conversations with other things it was really strange.
Well, so something about that though is that is like totally intriguing to me, and I would love to go do that.
Yeah.
But the problem is, society pushes me to job and finish school and all this stuff.
401k.
Yeah, right. Start
Mortgage your home.
paying and all this. But it sucks because I can feel myself, like in society's terms, it'd be maturing, but it's like more of following the ideals that everybody wants you to have instead of like where I was, probably a year or two ago, which was full blown. Like that's whenever I should have been reading this stuff because I was just so into it. Like seriously, like feed me these and let's see where we go. And granted, I had that bad experience in my house up there.
Would you categorize it bad, or would you just kind of categorize it as?
I haven't done it again, so I can categorize it after I do it again and revisit that place.
Right.
Because right now, dude, there's no other term besides just terrible, just awful. It was worse than your life ending. It was like maybe to a Christian it'd be like being sentenced to hell, and like going to hell,
Right.
And not going there, but it's like, like if you're going to heaven, you're going up the ladder.
Right.
If you're going to hell, you're falling.
Right.
It was like I just got to fall for like an hour. Like I'm heading to hell of eternal torture and misery.
Maybe that was the point.
Right.
Now, okay,
That's my
so
point.
it's it can teach you. I think there's a quote out there. It's like no, it's not a bad or good experience. It's all learning. It's all a learning experience.
Right.
And it's almost hard to reflect on because I don't want to go back there.
Right.
And so that's why I think I just need to do it again, revisit what the hell happened.
Right.
And I was alone, so I didn't really have nobody to ground me.
Right.
And so I don't know. I'll be excited to do it again.
So here's a question for you. Why, if anyone is listening to this and they're like, yeah, I'm into psychedelic, and then they hear that, I mean, why should people be interested in this, or at least support these kinds of things if you have to
From
fall
what
from
you're scared of?
you get to fall from I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to fall from hell.
Well, I
from
think
heaven to
Face
hell.
your inner hell.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I think that's
Beat
a
it.
good one. Face your inner hell. It's not like, if I was scared of spiders or something, it's not like spiders are pouring out of my mouth and, all this stuff. It was nothing like that. It was like a central universe where everything and nothing existed. And
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I've been there.
death.
I've been there.
perhaps death. I didn't
No.
feel like I was dying though. It was worse than death. Like I would have rather have just died. So maybe the girl jumping off the roof just couldn't take it, and my couch was good enough for me just to curl up in a fetal position and
Throw on some Family Guy.
just freaking hang on for dear life. But there is a deeper, and like people ask my religion, and
Right.
I don't really associate with Christianity much anymore, but I do say that I'm very spiritual, and I think it's because of that. Because I would say that there's totally a higher power, whether it's the universe, whether it's God, or whatever. But these substances can get you there, and and I was telling, I'm not gonna say her name, but I was telling somebody one time that whenever you take them, I guess mushrooms in this instance, you get to meet God. And then she was like, oh, what, you meet God, you don't meet God. It's like, no, you don't meet face to face, but the term,
Right.
or the phrase, God is love.
Yeah.
That phrase, apply it to these things, and that's it. And you've met him, you've been there. And
I think you meet you. I think
on any of them.
everything's God. The rock's God. Your God.
The
we're
rock,
God.
like
Dwayne Johnson.
I mean, everything's God.
You
It
definitely
all came
feel
from the same place.
Right.
Well, what were you saying earlier on how we feel so disconnected from everything?
Mm-hmm.
You
When we
take a
realize-
batch of these, and then it's just like, oh my God, I see it.
You
Like,
were wrong.
oh, that's what we're doing here. You know, like, of course, nobody knows what we're doing here. You can talk to the most awakened person there is, and they're just still like, you know, I don't know, but
There's also
it'll make you feel so connected. No, it's all right. But
there's also a bit of super, like, not normal confusion, but like ultra confusion, at least for me, after I did the mushrooms, to where I got all that what you guys are talking about, like went to the craziest, you know, whatever, tip top of the mountain, realized, met God in a way, in a sense, you know, all that. But then there's a part of me in the back of my head that puts his hands into the goop, pulls it out, and goes, I don't know what to do with this. Like, I don't know if this is real. I don't know really what that was. And I'm like happy now because I told Casey, like, thank God for sobriety, dude. Thank God for the sober mind, because I was so happy to come down. Like, I was like, that was incredible. But I'm ready to just hang tight for a second, get my bearings, and kind of like, what is going on? And I can't figure it out. I can't figure out where
That could be
what that was.
you were
where
supposed to figure out.
Could be.
sobriety,
Just reality, I guess.
appreciate reality. I definitely appreciate reality.
Absolutely.
Touch a table. Oh, hey table. Thanks
I
for being
realize how
here.
magical it really is.
Yeah, dude. No doubt, man. You have a whole new
This was
outlook.
a fucking tree.
Yeah, somebody brutally murdered this tree.
Nah, you can do it sustainably. But I mean, there's cells in there. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Nutrients went through this thing.
Yeah.
Keep
and now
going.
it's our table.
Keep going deeper,
Yeah.
and there's genes that you have inside of you that were inside of this tree that are exactly A, T, 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 G, C, T,
Yeah.
T, and it's
Just a slightly different code.
right.
And you
Just
came
a
out.
little bit. There's something you probably share with the tree, though, right?
Oh yeah, you
All
share
of-
with everything.
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Right.
Carbon, nitrogen, oxygen.
That's not. Well, yeah. That's yeah.
I mean, it's all ingredients for life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So my advice to you on sifting through the goop.
It's like 5%. 95 is like get it, got it. Need to get a little bit more. Good time. Figure this out. Let's whatever. Do it again. And then there's just 5% of just ether.
Well, you said it. What I was going to say though is that you got to do it again and then
Oh,
search
most
for
definitely.
that.
Most definitely.
So in my experience, that was not mushrooms, but if I did it again, I don't know if I'd seek that place that I went to. It
I didn't have a
would be
choice.
along the lines of conquering your fears, and
You had
You
no
already did though,
choice.
didn't you?
conquer it. No, I was what Colton did the last time. I was just like, I saw like a window in my vision pass from right to left, and it was just like this circle in my vision, and it was sobriety, and I could see through it, and it passed. So I was like, no, like, but it was a good sign because there was a
That's what you were
sign.
wanting.
Yes, there was a sign of relief, and it's on the way, and then like. It was like a screen door being tattered by bugs or something. Every once in a while more would come, and then eventually the whole screen was gone, and it was like, oh, I'm back. I'm back. I'm done with that. Like, it's a part of your brain that you just don't even think exists. But
And you
given
don't
the
have
A part of
certain,
existence.
do what?
A part of existence.
It's somewhere where this drug takes you that
It's
nobody
another
knows
plane
where.
of reality that you experience.
No, not at all.
It shows you that like.
It's another plane.
Right. It shows you that this almost
Maybe not
isn't the
reality,
only
yeah.
thing. And it's because I can take it and you're not going to experience it.
Right.
Which only shows that like you create your own reality.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I take this, my reality has completely shifted. Yours is totally the same. You're looking at me the same. I'm behaving differently, but my reality is completely, I'm going to say now skewed for lack of a better word. But it's altered. That's probably a better word. Still not the word I'm looking
Enhanced.
for. Not enhanced. Maybe enhanced, but still.
Well, you would interpret
not
it
the
as
word.
enhanced. I would interpret it as enhanced.
But it's not reality though. Reality is like your base.
No, I would definitely say it's reality. I
On
would
the
say it's a
substance.
piece of it. And you just kind of fly around reality. And sometimes you find yourself in the blue spectrum. because you took some acid, but you don't spend much time there, and you don't want to. You come back to the yellow.
The only reason I disagree with that is because you are on a substance. Like, you're being altered, not...
Every time you eat food.
Right.
I mean,
But it's not psychoactive.
Caffeine. I mean, that's always the go-to.
In a
one.
way.
It's more like physiological. It gets your blood moving, constricts your blood vessels,
Well, it
increased heart rate.
Well,
go
just-
eat a bunch of chicken, grilled or fried chicken. You're gonna alter your consciousness to not be
your
able to move.
metabolism.
That's still
gonna
more
be
physical
lower.
than mental, though. Your body's exhausted.
I would say they're inextricably connected. The mind and body, mental
Yes.
and physical. So what you do to one affects the other. Algebra.
I mean,
You add 4 on one side, you add 4 on the other side.
you're a unit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
separate organs, but all require nutrients.
Sometimes I wonder if we think too much. Like, guys, just give it a break. Like,
Go
we
eat
don't
and
need to
fuck.
think there. Yeah, right. Go
Good
primal.
Lord.
Stop trying to figure out the universe.
I don't know
and-
why you assholes did this to yourselves.
Yeah, right. We're just causing mass confusion.
Oh,
among-
dude, it's a big paradox. You can't figure it
Yeah.
out, but you want to.
And we're gonna die before we figure it out.
Maybe.
I'd say we are.
Maybe not.
I'd say the
hope
closest
when
you
we
can get
die,
to
we know.
psychedelics. That's as close as you can get to finding like truth.
There's a quote, I can't remember who it's by, but it's meditation is the closest you can get to God when you're there with nothing but you and nothing else.
5 dried grams of mushrooms.
But I mean, you can get to those states
Isn't that crazy?
without
Yeah.
anything,
Yeah. Just through meditation.
or just
Through breathing.
Breathing.
there was
It's kind of meditation.
Ram Dass.
Meditative.
He was talking about the same, similar to what we're talking about, and there was an old lady that kept on shaking her head in the crowd, and he was with all the hippies in the '60s.
Right.
And later, after his lecture, he went up to her, or she went up to him, and he asked, how'd you know? And she said, I crochet.
Oh my god.
And that was her answer. She
Whoa.
found the same levels.
Oh, right.
That is
By
awesome.
I've heard that. I've heard that YouTube. It's a YouTube video, isn't it? It is.
I
now.
don't, I might have been a podcast or something I heard it
Yeah.
on, but
That's awesome.
as you realize there's so many ways to get to it, whatever it is.
So would you consider that like a Zen type state?
I guess so, yeah.
I
But
feel like meditating, and I mean, I guess kind of along the lines.
becoming the witness, I think. When you realize that life is how it is, and you watch it go, and the good and the bad is all good because there's nothing you can do about it.
Is there a yin and yang?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Would good be good if there was no bad?
It's a good question.
You wouldn't know of anything else.
You have no reference.
It would be
point.
boring.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be boring.
You wouldn't be able to tell it's hot if you didn't know if it was cold,
Mhm.
right? I mean, I guess you would be able to tell it's
It
hot.
depends how neutral it would feel.
That would be neutral.
Is there a good and bad? Is there a neutral between good and bad?
Like a baseline.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then
It's called purgatory.
then you might along your hot and cold. If there was a neutral and then you got cold, you'd probably know that you were cold.
Would you know that you were neutral?
This is the first time you've experienced it, so you just kind of add that to your reference. You go, oh, this is cold. I'm gonna name this cold, but you don't know that there's gonna be an opposite to that, and it's called hot. Until you come into contact with this hot, and you go, whoa, that's okay. Those are the opposites.
So-
Okay, here we go. And the middle is somewhere in the middle is neutral, where it's neither.
Mixed together, maybe?
Yeah, words
Yeah.
have messed us up to where we have
Words
to
really
label
have.
things,
Oh.
and then we get in paradoxes like that.
Terrence McKenna talked about the language being an entrapment of things. So a child that doesn't know any language is in his room, and a hummingbird flies outside the door or the window, and this child gets to witness and experience that hummingbird in its purest form until mom or dad come in and go, "Oh, that's a hummingbird." Now that thing is trapped.
Wings and
Right.
legs
Right.
and feathers and
But before
beak.
that, like I was telling Kelsey the other day, we don't know what Braley is. Braley's her dog. We call it a dog, but we don't know what a dog is. That thing right there is a dog. We're going to classify this as a dog. she doesn't know, Braylee, that she's a dog. She's just like, I'm doing it, here I go.
Mm-hmm.
But we called a dog English. The Russians called a yog. I don't know.
That's right.
Whatever word. Everyone has a different name for it, but we don't know what the thing is.
I don't know where language came from.
And it
Well,
always
I guess it's always I don't know.
Started on cave walls. Is that where language started? Pictures of a buffalo. And
I mean, dogs have a language too.
It's just, I guess it depends on how you define it.
or like
define
a,
language.
is it like a natural part of evolution? Like eventually, well, it's just communication, I guess.
But you can communicate without language.
It's still communication.
Chemicals.
Right.
Pheromones.
But we're talking about language.
Yeah.
And I would say language and communication are different. Communication is the passing of information from A to B, B to A.
Says the speech.
I'm in Calm 207. It's a what do they call those?
Shout out.
Gen Ed. It's a Gen Ed. Listen to me. I'm in a Gen Ed.
It was Gen Ed.
I'm a Gen Ed.
The day
Bunch of 17-year-olds.
I was going to say the day that we got. The day you guys are taking it. You stand up in front, and for a minute they pelt you with questions. You're like, "What's your name?" Trevor Burrows. What are you studying? Psychology. The day I went up there, everyone's gone very similar majors, very similar activities. Everybody watches Netflix. Nobody else does anything.
Right.
And so I go up. How old are you? 25. I was like, oh,
my fucking dad's in this class.
who's your daddy?
25. Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy?
I'm the only one married in there. I sit in the front row. I'm as old as the GA is, so that's kind of weird.
It's stupid that's a problem, or
People
wasn't. Feel weird.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, they're really nice to me, and I don't feel different than them.
There's a few people I've encountered that think the non-traditional students shouldn't be there.
Yeah,
Well, that's just so
I saw a Pit Anonymous tweet the other day.
Yeah, some people are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Non-traditional, like transfers?
No, like they're not 18.
Freshmen.
Oh, I saw.
45-year-old freshmen.
Oh, good grief. I will say they are the most, talkative, I guess,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, dude, I know you're 60, but shut the hell up.
Yeah, right.
I know you're comfortable with yourself and everything. Everybody else is shy and still trying to figure out what life is all about. But, dude, can you just shut up so we can listen to this class?
In general, though, if I had a 17-year-old in class who wouldn't shut up, I'd hate him too.
I would hate him worse.
Yeah.
I'd hate him worse.
Yeah.
We used to have this black guy named Bobby in Politics 101 in 2011.
You both had Bobby?
Oh, he was the most annoying, and he would just he just wanted attention, and so he would yell out jokes and stuff.
You said he was young or he was old?
Yeah, he was young. He was probably just straight freshman,
Right.
straight from college.
Right.
But
Straight from
it's
high school.
seriously I'm trying to learn about
from Compton.
politics here, and you're just flirting with our teacher because she's pretty or whatever.
Hot teachers.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Trevor's got a thing with 30 and ups that are good looking.
Any cougs out there,
have you
hit
heard
me
about
up.
her?
Trevor_Burrows
She's
Twitter.
in the hospital.
No.
She's been in the hospital for a long
I should
time.
go see her.
Who is?
Tasha Potter. She taught positive psychology.
She taught Gen
I've heard
Psych.
Potter is a
Gen
good looking
Psych.
gal.
I took
She's a
Gen
good looking gal.
You guys want to go?
to the hospital.
Dude, no, the weird thing is, though, last I heard, somebody was like, yeah, how's she doing? And the other person was like, not so good. It's like,
What the hell?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. She has 2 positive psych classes that have been having to miss class. And they're rounding together to do one class is doing this project, the other class is doing this project for her. But
for her.
yeah, I'm kind of glad I am glad that I got to take that class last semester, so I'm not missing out on. It was an awesome class.
One of the best classes I've ever had. Gen 1 with Tasha Potter.
I had positive with her.
She might have tested positive for a fucking Hep C or something.
Probably after I got to her.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Oh shit!
I'm not your king.
I should have told you beforehand.
Hey, I got something to tell you.
I think I know why you're in here.
Oh,
Get well, Tasha.
we miss you.
You want to talk about Neuronaut at all?
I guess I'm starting a new podcast. I guess hopefully it'll.
Within the next week?
Yeah, within the next week. I'll be calling it the Neuronaut Network, and I'll be having on as the first guest my abnormal psychology teacher. Leave names out of it until everything's official. Should be good. I hope to have mainly psychology people, hopefully higher status folks in the world who really have something to say and knowledge that I can share with all you folks out there. And more details to come. If you want to follow it on Twitter, it is Neuronet, @Neuronet, and no real progress there, but it is set up if you want to start following for future progress. It should be up and running, we're hoping next week, so more details to come as that unfolds.
Yes. And are we still going to be doing podcasts? Would you be doing podcasts, or
What is the podcast about? Because so far, they haven't been bad.
they're getting better?
They've
Every
been getting
episode's better.
Yeah, they've been getting better. But I mean, it's like a no holds bar, you know, like
Nothing.
nothing.
Really
yeah,
generalized.
really generalized.
Yeah.
Really vulgar, and
I need to come back on.
dude, I mean that's the one where you can just let go, get a little turnt beforehand,
yeah.
and jump on there.
I'll tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah, right. No, I don't know. We have like 110 followers on Facebook.
I know,
and
it's not bad.
It's not terrible. It's a good start.
Right.
I don't know.
Like, I'm definitely going to be doing Sci-Fi and Friends.
SciFi and Friends, I think, has some good potential.
Yeah.
And Neuronaut, we'll see how this goes. But
Neuronaut will be interesting.
yeah, it'll be an interesting
Because it's
one.
so generalized. It's so
Right.
focused. Not generalized. So focused.
We're gonna look at studies and research and stuff and present it and stuff like that.
The only thing about that is I don't want to like ambush my guests. So like,
Oh, I was meaning like if maybe 30 minutes before the guest arrives, go over something
With him?
interesting in
With the
psychology.
guest?
Just with you. You
Just
and,
go to like Science Daily, and then Science says, "Oh, we found a new therapy method."
but still, I would hate to like ambush him with that. Like he's
No guest. It's you.
just how
You know, like Chris.
You're
Oh,
presenting.
like Chris Ryan or
Right.
something.
And you would just bring up a study.
I have thought about
read
that.
through it
That's
and
not
then
bad.
give
That'd be
your
cool.
give your thoughts on it.
Right, and like even he does like
Little
he's like an
stories.
English. Yeah, he's like a English / psychology dude. So obviously he's wrote a book and stuff. So he knows how to. I don't know. He knows poetry and shit. Like I was listening to one today where he went through like a William Blake poem, and so like that was cool. So if I could do something like that, that wouldn't be bad. Discuss ideas maybe.
Ooh, books
and
that
then
you've
that
read.
Would, yeah,
That'd be
like
cool.
recommended readings,
Just finished this book.
yeah.
Sex at Dawn.
stuff like that. I mean, that'd be good. I would definitely want to do. I don't know. See, that's like little wrinkles that need to be sorted out because, you know, when the guest arrives, do I start from scratch there? Hey, everybody, welcome to Neuronaut Network, and go on.
Neuronaut Network.
Yeah, right. Cue the music, Jamie. Or should I do all that beforehand and then be able to put a little transition in there? Maybe play a song like he plays songs of his listeners, so that'd be cool. I could play shout out to February's Fallen. Shout out to those guys. February's Fallen. I can get them on the podcast. You know, they'd listen.
You could have Will Fry sing it.
I could have Fry sing. I could have
overrated.
Kelsey sing. I could have all sorts of things.
I'll sing.
All right, Joe. Oh, Trevor on the first podcast.
I heard a great song from Trevor on
Yeah,
Snapchat today.
he was singing some
Christmas Carol.
fire.
Yeah, it was a good song.
Fire.
I
real
hate
quick, do you
people
guys
say
like
that
that adjective?
No.
Okay.
Fire.
Not gonna
Dude,
lie.
I hate fire. I
I've
hate
started
Bay.
using it.
I hate.
Bay?
Oh,
I don't mind
I hate
Bay.
them all.
I don't.
Oh God.
I don't use Bay. I don't
like
mind
fire.
it
I
though.
like
I hear Bay, and it's just like I'm done with you.
If-
I refuse to spell though THO.
Yeah,
Say
I
that,
do it in
but
text.
I don't
I
really-
have
text?
a full
I can't do it.
keyboard.
I can't do it.
I can type
I'll
TH.
spell DOUGH,
Yeah,
but not THO.
D-O, I just do.
Do
I'm guilty of the though, shortened though.
With the Neuronaut Network, I think once you start doing episodes, you'll get a feel to what you like. And so if you do a couple guests, you know, oh, that felt good, whatever. I'm going to add in reading a science or a experiment or whatever, a research, and you read it a few times. And if we have people actually listening to it, they can tell you like, oh, we love when you do the research thing. That's really cool. Then you just kind of add that in. And you can see the evolution of podcasts if you go back to the first episode, especially Joe. I mean, I think it's the first like 140.
Dude, they're rough.
Where him and Brian, like you say, they just leave for a while. Or like in a dead spot.
Yeah, you just hear them in the background.
Yeah.
You guys still doing this?
So the best advice is just to start doing it.
I think
it will build and create itself.
I think no doubt the very first podcast I'd like to have I don't know, maybe not 30 minutes, but maybe 10-minute introduction. Talk about myself, talk about the podcast, talk about maybe what to expect, but that's the thing is I don't even know what to expect. So we'll like it. Yeah, it is like a startup and see how it goes and what happens.
Right. It'd be kind of cool if you started out every podcast, and you can do whatever you want because they're all like different. Like Joe reads his advertisements and Ryan does a little story.
And that's another thing. If we get ads, if we get sponsors, you know,
it'd be really cool.
I don't want to say any, but as an example, but you know,
brought to you by PSU. Go Gorilla.
That'd be awesome. But, see, I mean, and it's even we might want to do a research on how much can we talk about PSU because you know we don't want to step on toes or anything.
Right. Well, we just bring Dr. Scott on and see what he has to say.
That would be bad.
He would come on.
I don't think he would.
All right, challenge accepted. SciFi and Friends. Dr.
SciFi and Friends with Dr. Scott.
He'd sit down for 10 minutes, give you some political bullshit.
No, we don't need.
And then I'd be like,
minutes.
we have 50 more minutes to go, Dr. Scott.
Oh no.
No, you gotta get deep with him, man. I wouldn't want to hear all the.
He would go right around it. That's what he does. He's just a talking head for the university.
I'm going to let him listen to this before I interview him. This is what people think of you.
Fuck you, Scott.
I put this little montage together. What do you have to say to
we
that?
need a new practice field. That's what we need.
Yeah, build a multi-million-dollar track and practice.
Good lost.
I got him the other day. I got him when he came to speech class. He was a guest lecturer, right? You guys had guest lecturers?
Yeah.
It was him.
Yeah, probably so. He came in and he's like, "I'll take questions or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna ask you because I'm pissed." I go, "What happened to your computer science program?" And he's like, "I taught computer science at community college." And he goes, "Ooh." All the other questions he handled very well. Someone asked him about the tailgating, and he handled it fine, like he had rehearsed it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hit him in the dick with the computer science, and he was like, "That's a good question." And it took a while for him to get it. And he's like, well, we put all our resources in the technology center because we thought that would give us more feedback, more profit. Not profit, that's the wrong word. Whatever he said.
Indirectly.
Indirect. right. Oh, you got a bunch of manufacturing shit over there. You're working a lot with plastics these days, Doc Scott. And he admitted that it didn't turn out the way that they had hoped.
The tech center?
Taking the resources of the computer science and devoting it to the tech center.
I've been to the tech center. I haven't really taken tech classes, but it's like not all that.
Why wouldn't you have computer science though?
It's okay.
I mean, when I just got this bad taste in my mouth with like the technology building at Riverton. Like they set aside a whole building.
They had some extra computers in there. That's what made it the tech building.
The lame ass extra computers. Yeah.
When we changed the desktops to all boobs.
All boobs. That was so much fun.
Yeah, the tech building.
Joke.
I mean, that just shows you public school thinking and small town Kansas thinking. We have to have a building for technology. It's not like it's totally ubiquitous and runs every sort of biology runs on technology, physics runs on psychology. I mean,
world.
We're gonna separate it. See you on church on Sunday.
Don't forget communion.
I don't want to bash him too much, but seriously, like I've just always had a bad taste in my mouth. And then I went to Coffeyville Community College to do a news. All video tech in Kansas is news related. There's no like video production. Like here's how to make a documentary. Here's how to make short. Here's how you make a newscast because that's what you're gonna do in video. And so we went to Coffeyville. I think you were there. Yep. And it was just.
I'm the reason we got second.
No.
Skills USA?
I don't believe it at all.
Dude, you should have seen my transitions. They were horrible. I had to bring up because they gave me like a crash course, like 2 minutes. Like here's how to do it. This is what you push. Right. And
Well, the other guys were training. You know, like they have a.
we should. If I would have edited it right, or at least semi correctly,
Right.
we totally would have had first. Because
There was one time, and I don't blame you, Fry. I don't blame you, but there was a time because he was one of the
I thought he
anchors.
did good. I remember.
He did fine, except for one moment where he blanked out, and it was the outro.
Dude.
He goes, and then thank you for watching.
It was totally my fault. Blame me for second place.
Dude.
We should have got first.
Blame me.
Trevor. Now,
Blame
here's a
me.
great story from that trip. One of the best moments, one of the like top awesome stories. You know, I throw it in the mix of one of the best stories ever. There were all these plaques on the wall, hundreds of plaques, hundreds, each with a little name on it, right? And I think we were getting ready to compete, so we're all kind of nervous. You know, we're all trying to remember our lines, remember what we're supposed to do. Following's trying to, you know, make us laugh, calm us down. Well, Jacob and I start looking at the names. You remember this at all?
I don't know.
Okay.
Keep going.
We look at these names and we're going through and kind of read some. Just kind of looking for funny names, I guess. Well, what name do we come across? Dick Frost.
Dick Frost.
And we see that, we just crack up, you know, and Jacob goes, Dick Frost! This old guy behind us goes, yeah? It was Dick Frost!
Holy shit! What are the odds?
Well, I mean, we couldn't even talk to him. We were just crying, laughing, like, oh, Dick Frost!
Yeah, I do remember that.
It's Jack's brother.
He was just like,
Jack's brother Dick.
yeah. Excuse me?
Yeah.
How in the world? There were so many.
That's beautiful.
It was so awesome moment. You know?
Yes.
Well, this has been an awesome podcast. One of the best.
I'd say so.
And I don't know if it's the new equipment, like we're not holding our mics, so we feel like more official. So we're like, we're not going to talk about some things.
And I'm looking in your guys' beautiful eyes.
I know it's like a real conversation. Not worried. I've seen you guys take some notes. That's pretty professional.
I have drawn a few.
Trevor's doodling. He was doodling the whole time.
I wrote down neuronet.
I saw.
Nice.
May 28th.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a good day. It's a good day to be alive.
So Trevor, you on Twitter?
Twitter.
What's your Twitter handle?
Trevor_Burrows.
All right, and he is getting ready to graduate with a field biology degree here in May. And so, if you want to follow his story, see what he's going to do, what he's going to study, if he's going to go to grad school, if he's going to create some wetlands.
I'd vouch for me. He posts some pretty clever shit, and I've seen some retweets that are good of yours.
Oh, fuck. I retweet the shit out of some good stuff. Get on there.
I think most people think
I'm not
that.
too original, but I got some good.
See, I had a question. So, like, your doppelganger idol would be Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay, I don't know what that word means. I've heard
Doppelganger?
it. Yeah, what is it?
Pretty sure it means like your look-alike.
Yes.
And I don't mean that you look.
I was thinking maybe Will Smith or something.
That was one of the greatest answers of all time.
Dude, no, I'd say you're closer in a real sense to McConaughey.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you can pull him off
No,
too.
that's not what I meant.
That's
Erase
doppelganger. Yeah, I was gonna say doppelganger is like
I'm just gonna say not hero because it's not heroes, but like a person you look role model. There we
yeah.
go. Would be Neil deGrasse Tyson. You tweet about him, you retweet him, you tweet at him, you watch his videos. I remember we had the Google Chromecast going and we were watching YouTube fails, and he's like, play some Neil deGrasse Tyson lectures.
Yeah, I'm a fucking nerd. You got a point.
But so that's who I'd say you look up to the most. I'm a big JRE fan. What would yours be? Chris Ryan?
yeah.
Would you be Chris Ryan?
I'd say Chris Ryan or Neil's up there.
You only do one. Like right now at the podcast, you got Joe Rogan, you got Neil deGrasse
Chomsky's pretty
Tyson,
good. I like him.
I'm going Chris Ryan.
and you got Chris Ryan
Yeah.
here. That's interesting.
I want to make
Chris
sure it's my
Ryan,
final answer.
tangentially speaking, check him out. Shout out to him. He's awesome. Go ahead, Trev. What are you saying? Oh
I
yeah.
think I'll go with Neil, I guess. Final answer.
Neil.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
You are.
Casey's on Twitter at
I'm at Casye Seifert. I'm not gonna spell it out, but it's as it sounds. No underscore or anything. Just at Casye
you better
Seifert.
spell it out because you got a strange name.
Dude.
Nobody could pronounce it in Pee Wee football games. Seifert?
Dude, I got some crazy ones. I got like Cassie's, and it's like two letters.
Thomason got you on that.
Two letters are switched. Are you kidding me, guys? All right, it's
Chaos.
at Casye Seifert, CasyeSeifert. If you want to follow my new up-and-coming podcast, that's at Neuronaut.net, and that is pretty much how it sounds, NeuroNaut.net, at Neuronaut.net. Hopefully we'll have some big stuff heading your way, guys.
And Casey is planning on going to London here in May. We are creating a GoFundMe account, account. And so it's not up yet, but it will be soon. And if you feel generous, make sure you donate to that. It's a good cause.
Please. I need all the help I can get on that.
Be good for some traveling, good for his psychology major. It's a psych trip.
Yep.
Dealing with European
Diagnosis of abnormal
right. The differences between America and European. Guys, thanks for coming on the podcast.
I appreciate it, Colton.
Thanks for helping me get it all jump started back in. We had some problem getting things going, but now I got a lot of up and coming guests. I got a big list. When I posted this picture of these mics on Facebook, I got a real warm response. A lot of people interested on coming on, which I was like, really, you? Okay, I would love to have you on. Like I didn't even want to ask because I think you turned me down. Got a lot of good people coming on. So thank you both for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Trevor Burrows, Casye Seifert, and I'm SciFi. Thanks for listening.